By Olympia Beer, made only with pure, clear, bubbling, refreshing artesian brewing water, according to the artisans who've never been known for modesty. And by Toyota. Toyota invites you to test drive the recharged 1981 Toyota Celica Supra at your local Toyota dealer. Luxury never performed like this before. Oh, what a feeling to drive a Toyota. And by Santa Clara County Transit. They invite you to catch our spirit. Hello, everybody. This is Pat Hughes of the Sports Channel. A special exhibition soccer match today between Hibernian of Scotland and the San Jose Earthquakes. Now, what's the connection? Why are these two teams playing today? Well, the connection is George Best. George is a former player for Hibernian of Scotland. In fact, that was the last team that he played for before joining the San Jose Earthquakes. The Earthquakes, on the other hand, are riding very high right now. They are currently riding a two-game winning streak. They beat California on Friday night down in Anaheim, and then last Sunday they defeated Edmonton here when Steve David scored his 100th career goal. Hibernian is a very strong team. This year they won the championship in the Scottish First Division. Right now, let's go down to the field. Bob Murphy and Julie Menendez are waiting by. Murph?
That's right, Pat. They did win the championship in the First Division. As a matter of fact, they'll move up to the Premier Division next year. And Julie, a little different feeling. This is an international match. There's a different atmosphere down here on the field.
Well, this is what you call a friendly match.
Yeah.
You know, the intensity of the game might prove otherwise, but when you play an exhibition game like this, you usually call it a friendly match. And I can see by Jim Gabriel's face that he's
That's
loose
right.
and relaxed today, and he's looking forward to playing some of his other players. It should prove a good time to try to experiment and do things that he hasn't been doing right along.
Jimmy Gabriel and the Quakes with 2 wins in a row now. They're 4-5, making a move upward. Games at Atlanta and Calgary coming up next week. But today, the Hibs, the Hibernians from Edinburgh. Can you say that? Edinburgh. Boy, Julie. And we got some Mexican music out here, too, Julie, with these bagpipes. Huh?
Right.
But it's an interesting day, Pat. Jimmy Gabriel standing by. But before we talk to him, we're going to send it back up to you.
Okay, Bob, thanks very much. We'll take a closer look at the two teams in today's game. But first of all, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Wait, one at a time, please. Yes.
Who first discovered someone had changed the Olympia beer label?
Corbin Hutchins, our night inspector.
Can we talk to Mr. Hutchins?
Corbin is under the care of a doctor, but we expect a statement very soon. Yes.
Mr. O'Neill, is there any truth to the rumor that the artisans who, and I quote, make the artesian water that makes Oli taste so good are behind this mysterious label change?
No comment.
As the spirit rounds today from the mountain to the bay, it's feeling good and going good, the county's rounded way. Get our spirit now, get county transit now.
There's a new spirit in Santa Clara County, and you can catch it too.
Get our spirit, county transit, get our spirit, county.
With roast beef, peas, and baked potatoes.
There's nothing like something with milk. With ham on rye and mama's apple pie. There's nothing like something with milk. With burgers and fries on rainy Sundays. There's nothing like something with milk. Oh my gosh, for goodness sake, don't forget the chocolate cake. There's nothing like something. There's nothing like something. There's nothing like something with milk.
This spring, there's a fresh new look in sportswear. Presenting the 81.5 Sports Hard Top from Toyota. The very latest in sporty good looks. The new roofline? Open, airy. The interior? Beautifully smart. And the trunk? Very private. But best of all, beneath its sporty exterior, this is a Toyota Corolla. And it acts like one. New Corolla!
Jimmy Gabriel, the head coach for the San Jose Earthquakes, the 40-year-old Scotsman, is waiting down on the field between Julie Menendez and Bob Murphy. Murph?
Well, that's right, Pat. These players are not Scotch. We got to get that squared away, Jimmy. Scotch is something to be enjoyed in liquid form.
That's right.
These are Scots, and they're to be enjoyed in human form, huh?
Well, I don't know about that. I hope we enjoy playing against them.
It is an interesting game, Julie. You know, the Quakes have had, and I kind of wonder about the scheduling. Tough game down in Anaheim the other night. You're just kind of stopping by here to change your laundry. play these guys, and then you're on your way to Atlanta.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a tight schedule, but it gives me a chance to look at some of the players who are competing for places in our squad, and you know, it's good for them. Like Bob Stetler will get an airing, and Mike Hunter, Steve Ryan, Joseph Verris played part of the last 2 games, and I'll put Timmy Schultz on in the second half too. You know, good young kid.
Julie, you were impressed with the Quakes a week ago, and of course the 2-1 victory over the Surf, and you had some questions about midfield play with Jimmy.
Yes, I think Jimmy is concerned, or has been concerned, about midfield play, and of course the way Harvath hit that ball down there probably eased that concern a bit, but midfield play is important in any team, and this has been one of Jimmy's concerns, I'm sure, and perhaps he'd like to talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, the thing I feel is that we have defensive players playing in the midfield, we have forward players playing in the midfield, but we don't have a genuine midfield player playing in the midfield. Somebody's going to hold the pace of the game up a little bit from time to time. Somebody's going to get 2 or 3 passes in before we give the ball to George Best and give our team a chance to set themselves in a position to want to be when George gets the ball.
Jimmy, this is a team, the Hibernians, the Hibs they call them, a team that George Best played for, a team that is one of the leading outfits in the British Isles, moving up to the Premier Division next year. Does this give us some gauge as to what kind of progress the North American Soccer League is making?
I don't think so, really. You know, it depends on the mood of the team that we're playing against. If they really want to go for it, then fine, and we really want to go for it, then fine. If it was a cup tie, for example, if it meant something more than an exhibition game, then you would get a gauge. These games sometimes turn out to be disappointing because either the team visiting doesn't really feel they want to go for it, and because the team in a position like ourselves, we have to play 1 or 2 younger players. So it's not our strongest team against their strongest team, and we don't know the attitude of both teams going into it.
Julie, I would think players like Tony Powell and Alan Merrick and Mike Hewitt, players that come from that part of the world, are pretty jazzed up about this game.
Well, there's a little pride involved, but as Jimmy said, it's a friendly is what it is, and it's a good chance for Jimmy to look at some other players, and it's a friendly exhibition is what it is, but it should be a good game.
Yeah, kind of a tough travel situation now. You'll play this game, you'll fly to Atlanta tomorrow, then up to Calgary, so you'll pretty well cover the North American continent here in the next week, won't you?
Yeah, we will, but that's the name of the game here in the NASL. You know, you never know when you're going to travel. We have another long road trip, I think July, when we go all the way to the East Coast and play 4 games there. So you get used to that. The players get used to it, and it's all right. As long as we win 2 games, we ain't worried.
Jimmy, it's so nice of you to talk with us before these games. Our viewers really appreciate it. It gives them an insight into what's going on with the Earthquakes.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
And it's more fun to talk after 2 wins, isn't it?
Oh, it's a lot easier. A lot
boy,
easier.
Good. Okay, Pat. A big smile on the face of Jimmy Gabriel. Pat, we'll send it back up to you.
Okay, Murph, thank you very much. Hibernian of Scotland, they're a team with some great tradition. You can take a look at their league championship seasons and also the Drybro Cup championship seasons back in the early 70s. A team with a lot of great tradition. Scottish Cup champs, 1887 and 1902. They have been the runner-up in that Cup championship several times since 1902, and the League Cup champions in 1972-73. San Jose Earthquakes this season at home, 3-2. In fact, all 3 of their wins have been seen right here on the Sports Channel. Jacksonville, San Diego, and Edmonton. They lost to California and New York, both in shutouts. On the road, the Earthquakes earned a very important victory last Friday night against the California Surf. George Best had 1 goal. Joseph Horvath had a brilliant 33-yard shot for the winning goal in that game, and the Earthquakes really needed that win, 2-1 over the Surf on Friday. The Earthquakes' top scorers, Best with 3 and 3 for 9 points. David has 3 goals. Horvath 1 goal, but a team leading 4 assists this year. We should point out that international rules are in effect today, and that means that the 35-yard offside line does not apply. The offside line will be the midfield stripe, and of course, since it is an exhibition game, there will be free substitution by both clubs. All right, we'll be back with the opening few moments of the game right after this.
Macy's and Casio set the pace with 20 to 40% savings on every Casio product at Macy's. $39.90 buys this new watch with calculator, stopwatch, and alarm, plus a counterattack game. Or the Casio Water Sport watch with alarm and countdown stopwatch is tested to 100 meters depth. Your choice, just $39.90. Casio Week, calculated to save you 20 to 40% now at all Macy's.
There's a spirit round today from the mountain to the bay. It's feeling good and going good, the county's rounded way. Get our spirit now, Stretch County Transit now.
There's a new spirit in Santa Clara County, and you can catch it too.
Catch our spirit, County Transit. Catch our spirit, County.
Inside Sports, America's fastest growing sports magazine, covers a side of sports no one else is covering, the inside. Learn why Darryl Dawkins feels he has to smash backboards and who makes how much in the world of sports.
Inside Sports is read by sports writers and written by sports writers who get inside the head of an athlete and come up with in-depth stories like what Sugar Ray Leonard learned on his way to the top.
Inside Sports is the only national magazine that gives me the space to write articles like The Science of Building a Ball Club in the 1980s or The Art of How to Really Watch a Ball game.
As an introductory offer, receive the next 8 issues of Inside Sports, a $16 newsstand value for only $12. Save a solid 25%. Call now and receive this great-looking sports bag free with your paid subscription to Inside Sports.
Call now toll-free. You'll get 8 monthly issues of Inside Sports for $12. And with your paid subscription, you get the carry-all bag free. For fastest delivery, use your major credit card. Call now, 1-800-453-4000.
Back here at Spartan Stadium, Pat Hughes along with Julie Menendez and Bob Murphy. The officials in today's game, Klaus Kretschmer is the referee. The linesmen, Les Mohaxi and Alexander Para. Julie, the bagpipes and the team from Hibernian, it's definitely a very special day. And you can see the officials right there. That's Kretschmer in the middle, Mohaxi on the left, and Para on the right side. But a very special day at Spartan Stadium.
Well, the atmosphere is just right for an international exhibition game, and Scotland is noted for very fine soccer. They call it football in Scotland. So we have a number of people here, I'm sure, who are of a Scottish descent, who have come out to watch this fine soccer team from Scotland.
In Scotland, Julie, as you well know, their season runs from August until May, and so this is kind of a semi-vacation for them. But we did mention that Scotland's Hibernian won the first division earlier this year in the season that just concluded a couple of weeks ago. They had a very fine record of 24 wins, 6 losses, and 9 ties. And that's an amazing turnaround from the season before when they went 6-24-6.
And that, Pat, entitles them to move up to the Premier Division, which will put them in with the 11 other best teams in Scotland.
That's right. Each year, the last 2 teams in the Premier Division drop to the First Division, and the top 2 teams in the First move up to the Premier. And if you stayed with that, you're a better man than me. Here we go. From Spartan Stadium, number 7, John Connolly in gold. For Hibernian is ready to kick off. The Earthquakes in white, Hibernian in gold, and we're underway. Arthur Duncan, the flyer, with the ball. Arthur, by the way, is a foot doctor. He overplays one towards John Connolly, broken up by Ratonski, and now Horvath gets it back to Bob Stetler. The first time we've had a chance to see Bob Stetler in an Earthquakes uniform. Last year he was the goalkeeper for the Memphis Rogues, and he had 8 shutouts. Arthur Duncan with it again. Perfect day for soccer, Julie. A little overcast. The players love this kind of a day.
It's a little on the cool side, and it's just right for soccer.
Etherington knocking that one away. It will be a corner kick, however, for Hibernian. Arthur Duncan, he spent 12 years on this team. He'll make the corner kick. Stetler belts it away over toward Bestie. You know George is a little bit excited today, Julie, playing against his former teammates here.
Well, he wants to do well, as he always does.
Bestie had a goal and an assist on Friday night when the Earthquakes beat California 2-1. Steve Ryan in the starting lineup today. Here's Bestie playing one up towards Mike Hunter. A beautiful ball. Hunter has it stolen by Alan Snedden. Snedden gets it over to Duncan. Etherington coming up from behind. Stuart Turnbull. Back to Craig Paterson. We've got a foul on Hibernian, an Earthquakes ball. Vasa Ratanski.
Well, Pat, that was an offside. In this game, they're playing the international rules, which call for the midfield to determine the offside.
That's right. We pointed that out a moment ago. It's going to take a little getting used to here. This will be an Earthquakes throw-in. Mark Liverich. Liverich will throw it in. Liverich, 30 goals, 30 assists in his North American Soccer League career. Silvera. Back to Tony Powell. Ratanski one-times it, gets it upfield. Ryan head ball, a nice header, goes to Crescitelli. Tony Crescitelli. Over to Liverich. Back to Bestie momentarily, broken up, stolen by Jackie McNamara. Bob Murphy is waiting down on the field with a former Scottish First Division player, Mike Hewitt. Murph, take it away.
Patton, you know, this is kind of interesting because Mike Hewitt is watching a soccer game and turning his head from side to side. Mike, you don't often get a chance to do that. It's either coming right at you or going away from you usually.
Right on, Bob. This season I've been playing most of the games, all the games in fact, so it is a bit of a difference to sit and watch the game.
And you know a little bit about the Hibs. Their First Division team, as a matter of fact, won the First Division. They're moving up next year.
That's right, they're moving back into the top division, and basically Hibs are one of the teams that should always be there. They've had a lot of history and been one of the strongest teams in Scotland for a long, long time.
This must be kind of fun for you to see some of the guys from the old sod a little bit, huh?
There's one or two left in the team that played against me many years ago. John Connolly, one of them, he's playing up front in the middle. Arthur Duncan, who's playing left midfield, are two of the guys that I remember very well.
Mike, congratulations. A couple of outstanding games in a row. The shutout a week ago, and then, of course, the 2-1 victory over the Surf, and that goal by Horvath had to come. Did you get a good look at that one?
Well, Bob, I was right behind that ball, and I saw it all the way. As soon as Joe hit it, I said, hey, that ball's in. And it did. It rocketed in the back of the net.
And, of course, a great game to win. The Quakes are now 4-5 and cover a lot of miles in the next week, all the way to Atlanta and from there to Calgary. But a chance to come home with a winning record.
I think so, Bob, definitely, because they're not the strongest teams in the league, and I think the way things are going right now for us, I think we can come back with 2 victories on the road.
Mike, we wouldn't be talking to a player while a game is in the course of action. Nice save right there. You've seen a few of those, too, haven't you, Mike? We wouldn't be talking to you during a league game, but there's an informality about this game that's kind of fun.
Yeah, really, it's a friendly exhibition type of game, but it's still, you know, both teams are out there to win. That's what soccer's all about.
Oh, there's another shot, just a little wide. Pat, Julie, we'll send it back up to you now. Visiting with a goalie on a busman's holiday. Sitting here, what would you do if you're a goalie? You'd watch a soccer game, right?
All right, thanks, Murph, and thanks, Mike Hewitt. Mike mentioned Connolly and Duncan. Connolly is number 7, and Duncan is number 11, if you want to follow that while we watch the action today. Stettler. Goal kick for San Jose. Bob Stettler. A one-timer shot by number 8, Gordon Rae. These guys take shots from well outside, way beyond the penalty area, Julie.
They have a very active side. They play a very compact formation. Here's that shot. He first timed it.
But it went wide to the right. And now Stettler initiating the Earthquakes attack. He threw that one half the length of the field, and Joe Horvath comes up with it. Liverich has it knocked away. Out of bounds by Alan Snedden, now into Bestie. Best plays one over to Etherington. The Hibernian players have numbers only on their backs, and so if we are a little bit delayed in getting the name to you, I hope you'll understand. Etherington, the free kick into the box. Missing it was Craig Paterson. Coming up was Tony Powell. But here comes Gordon Rae of Hibernian of Scotland. Number 7, John Connolly. Hibernian Scottish First Division League champions this season. Knocked away by Horvath. And a foul on Joe. Free kick for Hibernian. Mike Hewitt, Julie, mentioned about the great tradition of Hibernian of Scotland. We showed you the graphic earlier that said they were Scottish Cup champs in 1887 and 1902. The free kick is taken wide to the right by Alistair MacLeod. They've been the runner-up 8 times, including 1972 and very recently in 1979, the runner-up in that Scottish Cup. And so they do have a great side.
And they compete against some great teams in Scotland. The Rangers and the Celtics, of course, over the years have been 2 of the best teams in the world.
Popped up in the air by John Connolly. Header on. Connolly after it. Connolly in the box.
There's trouble.
Chips it. Score! Connolly to Gordon
what
Rae.
a nice play. You could see that coming.
Gordon Rae gets the goal. Connolly a beautiful assist. Here's another glance, Julie. 1-0 Hibernian.
Now, the referee did a good job in invoking the advantage rule here because there was a foul here. And he just let play go on, and that enabled the Hibs to score. Here's the foul. You see, it's a tripping foul, but he invoked the advantage rule. Beautiful cross and a great finish with a header.
Ryan was there, but Gordon Rae got up in front of Steve Ryan, and it's 1-0 Hibernian. We still have almost 37 minutes to play in the first half. Etherington. This team played against Fresno State last weekend, and they beat the Bulldogs 4-2. Racing with the ball, Gary Murray. Murray will cross one, far post and beyond. And it comes back in by Gordon Rae. It's going to be a corner kick for Hibernian here. Beautiful goal a moment ago by Gordon Rae. Connolly setting him up masterfully, and it's 1-0. Comes into Stuart Turnbull. Good crossing pass. Silvera clears it out of trouble. Up into the 7th row of the stands.
Julie, it's interesting that this game looks so different on the field, and the number of times that I have spent some time down there, you can really appreciate the dexterity. I don't know whether you call it dexterity when you use your feet as opposed to your hands, but,
right, and
but just the skill with the feet and the passing ability that these players have. It's really phenomenal.
Right, and it's a different game when you're down there, too, from the standpoint of the physical aspect of the game. You know, it's much more physical when you're closer to the game.
I would sure encourage, Pat, our Earthquake fans who are sitting and watching in the comfort of their homes, that the next time they come to an Earthquake game, get down and try to sit close to the field. They'll certainly see another dimension of this marvelous game of soccer.
Well, the Earthquakes will be at home again on Wednesday, May 27th, a night game against Los Angeles. 7:30 starting time here at Spartan Stadium, the 27th of May. Earthquakes trying to avenge a 1-0 setback to Los Angeles earlier this year down south. Powell back to Stettler.
That assist by John Connolly looked like one of Julie Menendez's little chip shots, Pat. He just popped it right up in the air, ever so softly. And I promised Julie last week I wouldn't mention it, but I made no promises to him this week. He made a hole-in-one about 2 weeks ago, Pat, on the 3rd hole at Santa Teresa. About a 130-yard hole, and had to muscle up on a driver to get it there, Julie, didn't he?
That's right. It's a 5-iron.
A hole-in-one.
That is great, Julie. Earthquakes corner kick here. Bestie takes the kick. Head ball over the line. Another corner coming up. This time Mark Liverich from the far side will execute the corner kick. Liverich played in 1974 and 1975 with the Cosmos, 1976 for the Earthquakes. Good corner kick.
Boy.
Etherington coming in. It's broken up. Long ball played up toward Connolly, but Powell gets there, gently gets it back to Stettler. Now Gary Etherington. The Earthquakes played 2 nights ago, and they play again 2 days from today. They play in Atlanta.
They're going to lead the NASL in miles traveled this next week, Pat.
Bestie makes the steal, and then has it knocked away from behind by Jackie McNamara. That's right, Murph. They go to Atlanta and then Calgary. But like Mike Hewitt said, they should come away with a couple of wins. Atlanta this year is 3-4. Calgary only 1-7.
Got a kick out of Julie down on the field. Pat, he heard those bagpipes. He thought it was a mariachi band. Then you took a look at those skirts those guys are wearing, and then you weren't sure at all, were you, Julie? They didn't look like mariachis then, did they?
I don't know what they look like to me.
Arthur Duncan, number 11, over to 3, Stuart Turnbull.
It's a good ball.
Jackie McNamara.
That's a good ball.
Head ball. Goal. Another goal by Gordon Rae.
That Gordon Rae's tough, isn't he?
Boy, he really is.
Boy.
And it's funny, Julie, he got an opportunity to watch that goal after he'd made the header.
Oh, yeah.
He could just sit there and he kind of...
Watch this now. He read this real well, you know.
Then he's going to escort the ball into the net. Watch this.
He's a big guy, and boy, he can really get up.
He got there before Stettler did.
Now he gets to escort the ball right into the net personally. No one else there.
That is his second goal of the day. Hibernian leads 2-0. Rae scoring 2 goals in the first 13 minutes of play. So the Earth, go ahead, Murph.
We talked to Jimmy Gabriel down on the field, and part of the conversation that was not on camera, Pat, and the thing is, home, and it is kind of an off day, and it is informal, but anytime you play at home, you have that pressure of wanting to look good.
That's right.
So the Quakes do not want to blow out here today. They want to play respectably against this classy team from Edinburgh.
Here's Arthur Duncan. I believe it was Duncan assisting on that goal a moment ago. Duncan to the far post, over the goal line. Goal kick for Bob Stettler and the Earthquakes. I was just going to mention that, Murph. You mentioned the informality of the game to Mike Hewitt, but there's no way the Quakes want to get embarrassed here. They trailed 2-0. Still 31 minutes to play in the first half.
Pretty respectable crowd, too, Julie, for a non-counting game. I think the Quakes have brought back some of the aficionados, and the crowd seems to be somewhat bigger than the crowd of a week ago.
I think the last 2 wins has helped greatly.
Here's Horvath in the middle. Had the game-winning goal on Friday night over to Steve Ryan, former San Jose State All-American from Reardon High School in South San Francisco. Loses it, and Alistair McLeod gets it back to Davy Huggins. Davy Huggins, the only goalkeeper on this trip to the United States.
We just get word, Pat, that the assists were given to Turnbull and Jackie McNamara on the second Gordon Rae goal.
Back to Davy Huggins. He's only 18 years old. He joined Hibernian last season but did not play for the Hibs.
That was a pretty long kick, wasn't it?
Sure was. Oh, here's a blast taken by Gordon Rae. He has had a pair of head ball goals already, and he wanted to add one with his foot.
During the week, Julie, and you and Pat might have covered this down on the field. I didn't hear everything you said, but Jimmy Gabriel made quite a point out of the fact that the Scotsmen of this Hibernian team play a different kind of soccer than the English do. A little more freelancing, a little more one-on-one, if you will, if you want to draw a parallel to basketball. They kind of express themselves a little more.
Right, individuality, I guess, might be a good word, too.
Well, another point, Murph, to consider, I guess, is the fact that because of the cold weather in Scotland, there's more tackling and more running involved in their style of play.
I think in cold weather, I'd try to avoid as many people as I could. I don't know. That doesn't add up too good to me.
Better run and stay warm, maybe, but I agree about the tackling. Stettler makes the catch. Believe we had an offsides call. Stettler gives it to Powell. 2-0, Hibernian leading San Jose, first half.
The Scots have been known for their ability with the ball on a one-on-one, and they also are very good at the short passing game.
After this game here today in San Jose, Hibernian will be flying to Haiti.
Boy, that was a foul.
Etherington tripped up by Alan Snedden. Let's check that. It's Gary Murray, number 12. Here's another look at it.
He pushed him off the ball.
Alistair McLeod.
That was a bad pass.
Silvera gets it to Joe Horvath. Back to Mike Hunter. Hunter has his pass intercepted by Jackie McNamara. Head ball by Craig Paterson. Stuart Turnbull.
Julie, it was rather publicly discussed last week that Horvath might be on the trading block. That was speculated upon by most of the writers covering the Earthquakes, and then who makes the winning goal against Anaheim. But Horvath with a magnificent 33-yarder. Wonder if that stifled the trading talk.
Might have. He hit a real bullet down there and won the game.
Arthur Duncan, marked by Gary Etherington, gets by, then penetrates, and Steve Ryan finally knocks it away, but it's a corner kick. Nice move by 32-year-old Arthur Duncan that time. He went right around the 22-year-old Gary Etherington.
He's really strong on the ball, isn't he?
They call him the Flyer. He has spent 12 years with Hibernian, Murph.
I like the way Ryan anticipated there, Julie. That's a sign of good coaching. He had good upbringing in this game.
Well,
he's
played it all his life.
Julie, we're going to inaugurate a humility award for you, and we're just going to keep presenting it to you until you start taking some credit for some of these marvelous things that you've brought into the lives of others, except your golf partners.
I've made life miserable for my golf partners.
Ryan gets there. Silvera is with him, as is Crescitelli.
Oh, that's a foul.
Ryan is tripped up by number 9, Alistair McLeod. McLeod, the leading scorer for the past few years, had 23 goals for the Hibs.
Watch this foul now.
This year.
Referee was about to let the advantage rule take place, but then he called it because Steve couldn't control the ball.
Festi.
Here's where Horvath might hit it now. He can hit it. Oops, there it is.
Horvath left legger. Oh boy, he whistled one. You called it, Julie. Davey Huggins able to make the save, but he had to dive to do so.
That was about 32 yards
yeah,
out.
he can really hit it with his left foot.
I think all of a sudden the Earthquakes have a new set play on a free kick.
Well, he's always been able to hit that ball real hard, but his accuracy was way off, at least in the first few games, and hopefully it's coming back.
In talking to some of the people who were down at Anaheim last Friday night, they said that his 33-yard goal that he scored for the winner was still rising when it went into the cage.
He can really hit it.
Well, I thought Mike Hewitt's comment, and who would have a better look, he's right behind him, looking right down the field, and he said that ball was like a knuckleball, he told me, and it rose and then it dropped, Pat, and that's perhaps why the goalie missed it. That soccer ball does funny things sometimes,
it can
Julie,
really take off. Some people can really hit it. In about 2 weeks, Los Angeles will be here, and they have a player by the name of Wilson who can hit that ball about as hard as anybody I've ever seen from a set situation. He hits it even harder than Horvath, if that's possible.
That is amazing.
He can really hit it.
24 minutes and 15 seconds to play, first half. Hibernian leading San Jose 2-0. Each goal scored by Gordon Rae. Hunter to Horvath. Horvath double teamed.
Fouled.
Fouled by Alan Snedden, number 2. Hibernian, the former team of George Best, and a lot of these guys here today were teammates of George when he played with Hibernian. Horvath to take this free kick just inside the midfield stripe.
After 20 minutes, total shots, San Jose 3. The Hibs 9 shots on goal, 2 for the Quakes, 3 for Hibernian. Fouls, 4 apiece. Corner kicks, 2 for the Quakes, 4 for Hibernian. Saves, 1 for the Quakes, 2 for the Hibernian, and of course what do you call just the opposite of a save, Julie? There were 2 of those, too.
Just the opposite of a save, and I'd call it a goal.
Yeah, that's right. There were 2 of those.
Here's a free kick, Alistair MacLeod, Scottish League internationalist. Over to number 6, Jackie McNamara, the team captain. Horvath knocks away his pass. Back to MacLeod, offside. Alan Snedden was offsides.
Right idea on that pass, but he broke too soon.
Snedden, number 2 in goal, Julie. He was not a teammate of George Best, but in fact, he played against George. He marked George Best in a game while Snedden played with Celtic. And Best had a goal in that game. It was a 1-1 tie. That was a couple of years ago. So Best and Snedden very aware of each other's talents. Silvera to George Best. Best has it knocked away by Craig Paterson. Paterson's father used to play for this team.
Offside.
Good call. Arthur Duncan offside.
Duncan's a little too eager to get up there.
He's 32 years old, Julie, number 11 in goal. He is a chiropodist, Bob. It's a hands and feet doctor.
Well, if you're going to play soccer, you want to have a good foot doctor around, I would think, huh? That's a podiatrist, right, Julie?
That's what I thought.
Well, see, all of a sudden, in 1 week's time, Hughes has gone right by us in some areas. We got amazing how this young fella picks up these little bits and pieces of knowledge and tacks them together. And
Gary Murray. Gary Murray.
Good ball.
He is tripped up by Horvath. It's going to be a goal kick. Murray disagrees with the call by Klaus Kretschmann.
He thought it was a corner kick. It went off of Horvath. Horvath is hold. Oops.
Horvath and Murray mixing it up rather vitriolically.
See the words, Julie, how these things are coming out now all of a sudden?
Rather roughly. All right.
Oh, they just flow.
Best goes to Hunter, and it's up in the stands. Bestie hasn't really gotten untracked yet today. We have just over 20 minutes to play in the first half. 2-0, Hibernian leading San Jose. Here's Gordon Rae with the ball. He has had both of the goals in the game, each on headers. Rutanski breaks up that pass intended for Gary Murray. Goes to Mike Hunter. Liverich loses the battle with Billy McLaren, but it's an Earthquakes ball. Mike Hunter, the former All-American from Santa Clara, played for Dave Chaplik. George Best in the midfield. Good ball to Crescitelli. Tony let it bounce instead of trying to stop it with his leg on the run, Julie, and it cost him.
Yes, it did. It was a good ball, but he was having trouble because he was being covered by 2 people.
It's a tough ball to try to control on a pass like that. Here's Bestie coming back to Etherington. Etherington goes right, wants to cross it, does so beautifully.
Ball.
Oh, and Crescitelli pushes it just off to the right.
Oh, that was a great chance. Here's a replay on that. That was the Quakes' best chance up to this point. Etherington makes a great cross there.
Just before that, Julie, the pass from Best was absolutely magnificent. Gave Etherington the ball in a place where he could really do something with it.
Etherington made a nice little quick as a wink spin and got into a position to make the cross, but the shot by Crescitelli just wide. Still 2-0 Hibernian. Best, when he played with this team, Hibernian, had 3 goals in 1979-80. Scored against St. Mirren, Celtic, and Dundee. Dundee, Mike Hewitt's former team. Billy McLaren, Hunter battling Connolly for it. Connolly called for over the back pushing. Free kick, Earthquakes. Tony Powell over to Basa Rutanski. Overcast day at Spartan Stadium. International Exhibition Soccer. don't believe either team has made a substitution yet. Horvath plays one intended for the overlapping Hunter. Broken up on the play by McLaren. And now George Best comes up with it. Gets one to Silvera. Amazing pass. Crescitelli battling. Hunter gets away with a push. Head ball by McNamara, but Ryan has it for the Earthquakes.
Crescitelli's down. He seems to be hurt. Holding his ankle.
Etherington, some good dribbling.
Little rough in there, Julie.
Yes, it is.
This is trouble here.
Oh, here's trouble.
Gary Murray. Wide open field. Back pass to McNamara. Alistair McLeod has it.
Good ball. Great ball.
To Alan Snedden. He can cross one from there. Does so. Ratotsky clears it away. Arthur Duncan. And we have a offsides call against Hibernian. "17 minutes, 10 seconds to play. First half, 2-0 Hibernian leading. Their scores came in the first 13 minutes. In each case, tallied by Gordon Rae. Etherington has it knocked away by Alistair McLeod. McLeod plays one to Gary Murray, who is offsides. The Earthquakes have played exhibition matches internationally before. In 1974, they had 3 exhibition games, 2 against Club America from Mexico. They lost one, tied the other. And the Quakes that year also tied the U.S. Olympic team 2-2. In 1977, the Earthquakes lost to Chelsea of England 2-1. And then Stuttgart of Germany trounced the Earthquakes 6-1 in 1978. Quakes have never won an international match. It's going to be a free kick for the Earthquakes. George Best, I beg your pardon, it's a corner. Etherington throws it in. It was not a corner, it was a throw-in. Bestie pops it up in the air over the goal line, and we'll be back in just a minute. This game being brought to you by the nice folks at Santa Clara County Transit. They invite you to catch our spirit. And Bob Stetler made a very spirited save right there on the shot by Gordon Rae.
Great save.
It's just like blocking a punt in football. It takes a little courage to go in there without pads and that kind of a collision, Julie.
Boy, he put himself right into it.
Get foot and mouth disease that way.
Oops.
You know, another interesting factor, I'm not sure whether you and Pat covered this, but some of the players on this Hibernian team are remarkably young. Turnbull is only 18. Davy Huggins is only 18. They've got a couple of 17-year-olds, and Brian Rice and Willie Jamison. This would be like youngsters in high school signing professional baseball contracts, I would guess, Julie, and just going out and making a few bucks.
Well, they identify their players very early in Scotland and other countries, and these boys are very fine athletes.
Duncan plays one to John Connolly. Connolly bearing in. Broken up nicely by Powell in the middle.
I'll tell you, that here's a replay on that. They have great understanding. Look, watch this pass. He pulled it right back.
They're open in Glasgow this Sunday from 12 till 5 as well.
Out onto the field. There's a break in the action. The scoreboard showing Hibernian 2. Every time Hibernian gets the ball, Julie, you get the feeling that they are going to come down and get into a position where they just might be able to score.
Well, they have a very good total team effort every time they get the ball. Here we'll have a replay on this injury.
I like their transition, Julie. They get from defense to offense very quickly.
Right here is where Tony Powell is brought down and hurt. And he's still down.
With a pause here, we can give you stats after 30 minutes of play. Total shots, San Jose 3, Hibernian 9. Shots on goal, 2 for the Quakes, 4 for the Hibs. Fouls, 5 for San Jose, 8 for Hibernian. We're going to take a break right now. We'll come back with more stats right after this.
Wait, one at a time, please. Yes.
Who first discovered someone had changed the Olympia beer label?
Corbin Hutchin, our night inspector.
Can we talk to Mr. Hutchins?
Corbin is under the care of a doctor, but we expect a statement very soon. Yes.
Mr. O'Neill, is there any truth to the rumor that the artisans who, and I quote, make the artesian water that makes Oli taste so good are behind this mysterious label change?
No comment.
Hey, boss. Where do you want all these Toyota pickups?
Pickups? I've got the gas mileage car of the year. I don't need pickups, I need cars.
Yeah, well, you got pickups, so where do you want them?
I'm already up to my hubcaps and trucks.
Your Toyota dealer has a lot full of trucks, but more trucks are coming in. So forget what you think they cost. That was yesterday. Because today, your Toyota dealer is dealing like never before.
Tony Powell is all right. He is going to stay in the game. Hibernian still on offense. Rutonsky clears that one away. It goes to Alistair McLeod.
Just want to finish those stats, Pat. Corner kick, San Jose 2, Hibernian 4. Saves by the goalie, 2 for the Quakes, 2 for the Hibs.
Stetler makes a nice catch. Bob Stetler was signed as a free agent by the Earthquakes after the outdoor campaign last year. And we have a yellow card being issued to
Gary Murray.
Gary Murray, number 12 for Hibernian.
There you see Murray.
The Earthquakes have had really only one good scoring chance on a cross from Etherington in front of the net to Crescitelli, but his header went off to the right side. Ball played from McNamara to Arthur Duncan. Duncan offside, though. A very aggressive team, Hibernian. They have been offsides rather frequently here in the first half. Coach doesn't mind, Julie, if his team is offside sometimes. And look at Arthur Duncan. Duncan pushed by Etherington now. Here it is again.
Well, it was a loose ball, but
Look like a couple of Keystone Cops, don't they?
right. Well, if the goalkeeper has possession of the ball, then the player is not supposed to kick at the ball. But he did not have possession.
What possession he had was a little questionable,
Right,
wasn't
it
it?
was questionable, so I think he was right in trying to get the ball.
Bertie in the area as the goalie, Davey Huggins, made the catch.
This friendly match is heating up a little bit, isn't it?
It sure is. Gary Murray.
Oh, watch this.
Good ball. Knocked away by Powell. Stuart Turnbull plays one too far to the right. Earthquakes ball. Stetler hurls one upfield towards Liverich. Knocked away by McLaren. Murph?
Etherington is winded after that effort, making that final save down there. Pausing for a moment, putting his hands on his knees and his head down. Sometimes you just have to take a little blow, Julie. There's an awful lot of running in this game.
Bertie.
Oh, here's a chance. Here's a chance.
To Horvath. Davey Huggins makes the save.
I like the Hibs goalkeeper.
Huggins got down on all fours that time. He's only 18 years old, as Murph pointed out.
He's outstanding.
He's the only goalkeeper they brought with him, so he's in there do or die every time they suit up.
Steal by Mike Hunter. Mike Hunter had a great indoor campaign this last winter. Bestie in the box to Crescitelli. Hunter is in there. Hunter gets it in front.
That was a good effort by Mike Hunter.
Very persistent. In the midfield, Ryan goes to Silvera, two former San Jose State teammates. Back to Ratonski. Ratonski loves to dribble. Arthur Duncan makes the steal. Notice the quick transition from defense to offense by Hibernian. Duncan in the middle, a good ball. It's Gordon Rae. Silvera knocks it away. Alistair McLeod has it. Through the legs of Silvera to Gordon Rae. Hibernian putting on a clinic so far. The cross by Snedden. And the shot taken by Murray. Too high, Earthquakes ball.
They really are an opportunistic side, Julie. Just the way they play, their alertness and their sense of anticipation. It's something, I wouldn't say it's totally uncommon, but it certainly is at the higher level of what we see here in Spartan Stadium.
They play a very solid game. They come up from behind. They're always running up that extra player from behind. They play a wide attacking system. They're very clever at pushing the ball through to a frontline player. Just an outstanding side. This is the quality of play that you see in most international sides.
Mike Hunter back to Tony Powell. Tony spent 7 years in the English First Division. Gary Etherington.
Julie, I think you and I ought to go to. You and I ought to go to Scotland.
I'd like that.
We'll watch a little.
That's where golf originated too, Bob.
Well, we'll watch a little soccer, and we'll watch that rugger that they play over there. Play a few of those magnificent golf courses, and throw out a line and see if we can catch the Loch Ness Monster. Why not? What do you use, salmon eggs to catch him?
Liverich has it taken away. Look out. Liverich goes right after Alistair McLeod, number 9. Well, it started out to be a very peaceful, friendly exhibition match between George Best's former team, Hibernian, and the Earthquakes. But as Julie mentioned earlier, the feelings among the players, not the most congenial right now.
Another good pass from Best to Etherington.
Bryant gets it in toward Best, broken up on the play by number 2, Alan Snedden. Here comes Alan, the defender, dribbling all the way past midfield. Now Gordon Rae, the scorer of 2 goals so far today. Alistair McLeod. Arthur Duncan has it. Duncan, nicknamed the Flyer, moves in on Etherington. Knocked away by Gary Etherington. And here comes Steve Ryan to George Best. Bestie to Liverich. Back to George. Good defensive collapsing by Hibernian. They make it tough to do anything. A nice steal. Duncan gets it upfield, but Stetler is there.
Interesting, that pass coming out of there, and Etherington playing far the other side, the defensive side of the midfield stripe, Julie. The Quakes playing a little cautiously now. They've been blitzed a couple of times on those quick, explosive goals by Hibernian, and I think they're being a little careful.
They're good on the counterattack, Bob. They're really tough. They move off the ball very well. They always have that extra man to pass to. The movement off the ball is real good. Note how they always have a supporting player.
Mm-hmm. This ball goes all the way through to Stuart Turnbull. And he one-times it too far over the goal line, way off to the right. Earthquakes goal kick here. 6 minutes to play in the first half. Hibernian 2, San Jose nothing. Joe Horvath. Horvath born in Budapest. Offsides. Either Crescitelli or Best. I believe Crescitelli called for being offside that time. Jackie McNamara.
Oh, good ball.
Hunter gets it upfield. Billy McLaren is there.
Going to talk with John Carbray at halftime, the Quakes general manager. Talk about the recent success of the Quakes, the upcoming road trip.
Bestie really moving. Bestie still has it. Gets it over to Leverage. Back to Best. He can one-time it from there.
Should be a shot here.
Knocked away and out of bounds. Best is calling for a foul.
Best just doesn't believe the ball can be taken away from him, does he, Julie? Huh?
Here's a replay on this.
He just doesn't believe it. He's surrounded by
George felt he was pushed.
Green and gold, and he was pushed.
He was.
Now Leverage looks like he might have a cramp in his left leg.
Now he's holding his knee, isn't he? Now he's holding his ankle. He's in pain.
Frank Avila, the trainer, comes back out onto the field.
I'll tell you what the Quakes do not need is an injury to someone of the quality of Leverage or that caliber, Julie, in this kind of a game with a tough road trip coming up when they've just really been showing some signs of life.
I think this is one thing that Jim Gabriel feared going into this game, the possibility of an injury to one of the key players.
Steve David is already slowed up, and there might be some question as to how ready he will be for the games against Atlanta and Calgary. Easy Perez is not even in uniform today, I don't believe. I didn't see him down there, Julie,
no,
and he's got
a
hamstring pull, and I know that Jimmy wants to get his club just as healthy as they can possibly be. There's Jimmy on the left.
Ilya Mitic on the right. Less than 5 minutes to play first half. Hibernian leads 2-0, and here come the Hibs again. Gary Murray in the middle. Murray looking for a supporting player, and there he is, as Julie pointed out, John Connolly. However, Connolly might be offsides.
He is.
He had to race around a Quakes defender to get into an open space, and as a result, he was offside. Mike Hunter has it now. The Earthquakes would like to get at least one goal here before halftime to narrow that gap somewhat. You hate to go into the locker room at halftime down by 2, Julie.
I'll tell you, George Best is trying his very, very best to get one.
Horvath. Joseph Horvath. Back to George Best. And Bestie tried to play one off to Steve Ryan. They misread each other. And here comes Arthur Duncan.
Ooh, Etherington got away with one there.
Yes, he did.
Stuart Turnbull. Now Alistair McLeod. This is Alan Snedden. Gordon Rae and Mike Hunter mixing it up. Foul on Hunter, free kick Hibernian. Right side, they can make a nice cross from here. Far post and then some. One of the few bad balls we've seen played by Hibernian yet today. Etherington to Ryan. Silvera in the middle. Silvera plays one up. Leverage is upended on the play by Paterson, but Crescitelli comes up with it. A beautiful sliding tackle by Alistair McLeod. They have a great defensive side, Julie.
Well, they have two tall central defenders. It's just a real good side all the way around.
Turnbull.
Not too many weaknesses on that team.
Oh, that's for sure. Horvath to Best. Silvera. Here's Vasa Ratajski. He looks like he wants to just wind up and belt one to Crescitelli. Head ball away by Billy McLaren. When you're a defender in that spot, you better make sure to get some elevation on that head ball.
I think Silvera or Ratonski rather, took his second choice that time. He'd rather have gotten the ball back to Best, but he was very closely marked. So he went for the overhead header to Crescitelli, which was not a very high percentage shot.
Here's Ryan.
Oh, good
Crescitelli.
Good ball by Ryan. Beautiful chip shot by Steve Ryan. Crescitelli got his head on it, but he just didn't get it in.
Quick thinking by Steve, Julie, because the ball had just come out of the penalty area, and he quickly got it right back in there. Sometimes you can catch the defense starting to begin the transition during that point.
No one expected that.
A minute 20 to play, first half. 2-0, Hibernian leading. They scored twice in the first 13 minutes of the game. Gordon Rae had each tally. One minute left in the first half. Reading in the paper about George Best commenting on the game-winning goal by Joe Horvath the other night. Best said, if I scored like that, I would retire. Bestie's a good team captain, I think. Players, of course, respect him for his marvelous skill, but he's also got a good personality to be a team captain. He's a real leader. Silvera to Horvath. 20 seconds left in the half. Mark Liverich. He whistles one and knocked away by Davy Huggins.
And Etherington right behind him, Pat. If you'd notice that number 20 closing in on the net, if that ball had gotten by, it would have been an easy matter for Etherington to put it away.
There's a replay on it.
Left-footed kick. Right there, the save, and you see Etherington closing on the net right there.
We have come to the end of the first half. The scoreboard showing Hibernian of Scotland 2 and the Earthquakes of San Jose 0. We'll be back with our halftime activities in just a moment.
People aren't looking for good mileage. They're looking for great mileage. And here it comes. Starlet, a Toyota born small to kick the gas mileage ratings on their ear with more miles per gallon. More miles per gallon of gasoline than any other car. The Toyota Starlet. A small wonder, maybe the first small wonder of the world.
KLIV is proud to bring back to the radio all the great songs from the past 40 years. Glenn Miller, Frank Sinatra, Barbra Streisand, Harry James, Nat King Cole, Andy Williams, Mitch Miller, Benny Goodman, Doris Day, Rosemary Clooney, Johnny Ray, Tony Bennett, the Mills Brothers. The music of your life right now on your AM dial at 1600 KLIV.
You can always depend on the Pinehurst Inn in the Garden Alameda for fine hungry hour lunches and gourmet-approved delicious dinners. And every Sunday, your host, Lorenzo Orlando, invites you to join him for a champagne brunch from 10 a.m. till 2:30. The champagne brunch makes Sunday wonderful for the very low price of $6.50. So for a pleasant dining experience every day, treat yourself to the Pinehurst Inn, 1520 the Alameda, San Jose.
There's a new spirit in Santa Clara County, and you can catch it too.
There's a spirit round today from the mountains to the bay. It's feeling good and going good the county transit way. Catch our spirit, county transit. Catch our spirit, county transit. County transit now.
From Spartan Stadium in San Jose, this is Pat Hughes along with Julie Menendez and Bob Murphy at halftime. And at the end of 45 minutes of play, the scoreboard showing Hibernian 2 and San Jose 0. International Exhibition Soccer on the Sports Channel today. But coming up on May 27th, it's back to the North American Soccer League campaign season. The Los Angeles Aztecs will be here on the 27th. That's a Wednesday night. Game time is 7:30. And then Calgary is here on Sunday, May 31st, 2:30 in the afternoon, and on June 7th, another afternoon tilt, Tampa Bay. Sunday, June 7th, 2:30 in the afternoon. Some good teams coming into Spartan Stadium, Julie, and the Earthquakes lost 1-0 to Los Angeles earlier this season. You know the Quakes are looking forward to that one. And the next Earthquakes telecast, a tape-delayed basis, of course, each time, Thursday, May 28th at 9 o'clock, Friday, May 29th at 9 o'clock. Julie, I've been very impressed with Hibernian here in the first half, and I don't think you could help but be impressed by them. Let's take a look right now at a couple of their goals, at both of their goals, I should say, in the first half of play.
We're looking at a first-class team here, Pat. They do everything just about right every time. And on their first goal, as their second goal, it was a combination of two players, one making a beautiful cross and the other finishing with a header.
This is their first goal. John Connolly will be setting up Gordon Rae.
Right, he was fouled, and the referee let it go on, wisely so. And here's the finish with a nice header right past the Quake goalie.
It looked like Rae might have used a very subtle left hand to push away Steve Ryan right there. At any rate, the goal stood. It's 1-0. It was 1-0 Hibernian, and then about 5 minutes later, Hibernian struck again. This time, Gordon Rae, on a crossing pass, got there before Bob Stetler, the Earthquakes goalie, could, and he got a head ball and popped it right over Stetler.
All right, this was off of a long ball. Here's the long pass.
That's Jackie McNamara.
And Gordon Rae, or Gary Ray it is, coming in. Gordon Rae, that's right. Coming in and making a beautiful header. He really got up high for that one. He got up higher than the Quake goalie, and boy, he really made an effort there.
And Julie, that was a very difficult situation for Bob Stetler to be in. Did he want to come out there the way he did, do you think? Or I'm sure he thinks now that he should have stayed back.
Well, it was probably a goalie ball, all right, but the Hibernian player went up so high in the air, you know, he just beat him on the headers. What happened?
He sure did. There's a game of rugby going on at halftime, and we're going to take a break. Bob Murphy is waiting down on the field with John Carbray, the general manager of the Earthquakes, and we'll listen to that conversation in just a moment.
Wait, one at a time, please. Yes.
Who first discovered someone had changed the Olympia beer label?
Corbin Hutchins, our night inspector.
Can we talk to Mr. Hutchins?
Corbin is under the care of a doctor, but we expect a statement very soon. Yes.
Mr. O'Neill, is there any truth to the rumor that the artisans who, and I quote, make the artesian water that makes Oli taste so good are behind this mysterious label change?
No comment.
See some of the finest amateur athletes in the world on the Sports Channel on Monday night, May 25th at 9 p.m. It's exciting NCAA track and field from Stanford Stadium featuring the Pac-10 Championships. Replays may be seen on Tuesday, May 26th at 6 p.m. and Wednesday, the 27th at 11 in the morning. It's all coming your way on the Sports Channel.
The Sports Channel.
2-0 Hibernian leading San Jose at halftime. The Sports Channel telecast is being brought to you in part by the nice folks at Santa Clara County Transit. They invite you to catch our spirit. Bob Murphy is waiting down on the field with John Carbray. Murph, take it away.
Pat, not just John Carbray, but Cecil Graham, the secretary, as you say.
Secretary Accountant.
This is Cecil Graham, the secretary of the Hibernian team, the counterpart of John Carbray. If John Carbray were a secretary, he'd have a little skirt on, he'd be sitting out in front, and he'd say hello when you first come into the office. But he's the general manager. The secretary for the Hibernian team is also the equivalent of the general manager. Cecil, it's awfully nice to have you here.
Well, it's great to be here, actually, and the hospitality we've experienced is out of this world. I've been all over. I've been to Albania, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Canada, and this is the greatest, really.
Well, we'd like you to, when you leave, if you would leave Gordon Rae here, just let us use him for a while. Can you do that?
If you leave me with £500,000, I'll leave him here, okay?
We don't weigh that much, do we, John?
Pounds of what? Sterling.
Is the game a little different? Now, there's been some speculation during the week that that the game as it's played in Scotland is somewhat different than the game as it's played in England. A little more individuality, a little more freelancing, if you will.
Well, the players are inclined to use the ball a bit more. You know, they like to beat a man instead of passing. They like to show the skills. As Scotland, we reckon we started the game, really.
Well, unfortunately for the Quakes, it's kind of been going that way, John.
Yes, they played very well the first half, and I told Cecil, we were up there talking, and he saw those rugby players coming down, and I told him that that's who we're using the second half, and he got a little bit worried. I'm sure the second half's going to be just as exciting as the first half.
Now, with a name like Murphy, I want to know the origin of Hibernian, where that name comes from. This will be a history lesson now for our viewers.
Well, if you're all listening, Hibernian is Hibernia, which is an old Roman Latin word where Caesar wintered his troops. And the Irish priests came over from Ireland, and they nicknamed us Hibernian in 1875. They only stayed with us for 2 years, and unfortunately they went away and they formed a team called Celtic. I don't know if you heard of it, but
not the Boston Celtics. Now you're not going to talk about.
No, the Glasgow Celtic. You know, they took away half our team as well. But
and Hibernian's the only thing they left with you. The name.
The name Hibernian. Hibees is our nickname. Hibees.
Hibees, or I hear the Irish call you the Hibs occasionally.
The Hibs, but the fans back home chant Hibees.
You know, John, Julie and I were talking about making a trip to Scotland. That is one of the voids in my life. I've always wanted to get up there to see some great soccer and, of course, to see those magnificent golf courses you have in Scotland.
Yes, well, the chairman wouldn't like this, but that's my one addiction, actually, is golf. I play a lot of golf. I'm 13 handicapped, so...
Where do you play, Cecil?
Long Nidri. It's outside Edinburgh. It's by the sea. A beautiful course, and if you want to come over any time, you're welcome.
Why don't we put a little tour together? Julie and I were talking about throwing a little bait out, trying to catch the Loch Ness Monster while we're there, too.
Hey, well, we're going to be playing over there probably next October, and if Gil wants to negotiate some TV rights, I'm sure we could get him to send you along to do the game.
I like that. And that's a place to get those wonderful English, Scottish woolens, too.
Well, yes, down the borders you'll get beautiful woolens, lamb's wool, and of course cashmere.
Yes.
All the Americans go for cashmere, really. But talking about the Loch Ness Monster, you need a live haggis, actually. You know, you've got to beat it with a live haggis before you
got to explain that to me.
Well, live haggis, you know, that's... Oh, I can't really explain. They run about in little legs.
Oh, I see.
And you feed them up with a bit of whiskey, stick them on the end of the hook, and you've got a good chance of catching
him, right?
If you don't, you feed yourself up with whiskey, you know.
That's right. They must hang out with the artisans.
I guess that's about right. This game that's being played behind us here, rugby, is another game that's very popular in the British Isles.
Well, can I be solemn? The ball's the wrong shape.
Yeah.
And we don't play rugby in Scotland.
And you don't
play a bit of rugby, but the ball's the wrong shape. We play soccer.
And you don't like it when you can touch it with your hands anyway, do you?
That's it. It's a foul. It's a foul.
All right, Cecil. Thank you very much. John, thank you for bringing Cecil down.
Thanks very much.
Very enjoyable visit. Pat, we'll send it back up to you.
Okay, Murph, I enjoyed that very much. Thank you. It is halftime here. The scoreboard showing 2-0 Hibernian. And right now, let's take a look, Julie, at the statistics in the first half. Hibernian, a very aggressive side. They've had 12 shots, the Quakes 7. They've been offsides 10 times, the Earthquakes 3. Those are the two that really stand out. And in the fouls department, Hibernian also aggressive, 11 fouls. San Jose only 6. All right, it's halftime. 2-0 Hibernian leading. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment.
This is a Girard tire salesman. This is another tire store salesman. And another, and another. Each of the other stores sell one brand of tire. Girard sells Michelin, National, Bridgestone, Continental, Dunlop, and many others. So if you're to choose the right tire, you can either go to Girard or go to another tire store, and another, and another. You can't choose the right tire if you don't have a choice. Girard Tire.
This summer, as you head up the mountain to scenic Lake Tahoe looking for summertime relaxation, add something special to your trip. Timber Cove Lodge, right on the beach at South Shore. It's a complete resort, relaxing and absolutely beautiful, with everything imaginable to make your stay at the lake unforgettable. And you're only 5 minutes from Nevada's South Shore fun spots, with free transportation to and from the casinos. Enjoy the restaurant's delicious cuisine in the cocktail lounge. Find cozy rooms with color TV. Beachside rooms are available along our 600-foot sandy beach. Relax in the sun, swim in the heated pool or brisk lake water. Boats for water skiing and fishing are available too, for the very best in water recreation. Timber Cove Lodge, a Best Western motel, and an exciting experience. Call toll-free for your Timber Cove reservations today.
This is the tough San Andreas Fault area. The truck, the new 1981 Toyota 4x4. And although the fault's tough, the truck proved tougher. Tougher because it has the biggest engine you can buy in a small four-wheel drive. So if you get stuck with something less, it's no one's fault but your own.
Tough truck!
Santa Clara County residents, coming to you on May 18th are free water-saving devices from the California Department of Water Resources. The shower flow nozzle reduces water volume without reducing spray pressure and can save $30 to $70 a year on your utility bills. By installing the water displacement bags in your toilets, you can save 1,200 gallons per person per year and use the dye tablets to check for leaks. Save water, save energy, save money.
We have only played 40 seconds in the second half, and already Hibernian has a chance to go up 3-0.
It's a penalty kick. He held on to him. The goalkeeper held on to him in the penalty area.
It was a good call, I think.
Now this could make it 3.
It sure could. Number 6 is Jackie McNamara. 1-on-1. The goalie may not move until the kick. It's a goal. 3-0 Hibernian. Stetler got a hand on it. Give him some credit for that, but he could not stop it. Jackie McNamara tallies.
It's a penalty kick. It's very, very difficult to stop a penalty kick. He had him moving in the right direction, but the ball was really hit.
So it is 3-0 Hibernian. Jimmy McAllister into the game here in the second half, number 4. Also some other new faces. Number 17 is Tim Schultz for San Jose. So Schultz and McAllister into the lineup here in the start of the second half. Bob Murphy has rejoined us upstairs.
Joe Harvath is playing sweeper now for the Earthquakes, which is a position new as far as this season goes anyway. I've never seen him as a sweeper. I'm sure he's played there before.
Now San Jose, Julie, down 3-0. Do you look for the Earthquakes to definitely push forward very, very strongly and try to get on the board here?
I don't see what have they to lose. You know, they have to do something. They're down 3 goals.
Arthur Duncan, a long one.
He tried to chip that one over the goalkeeper's head.
Now, you two have to tell me about the goal. It was 2-0 as I was coming up here behind the stands. Now, just tell me what happened.
Well, it was a fast goal. The Hibby player was driving for goal, and he was fouled by the goalkeeper as he was on a one-on-one, and resulted in a penalty kick, and it was a sure goal.
Happened
so
it's
3-0 now.
Happened in the first 40 seconds of the second half. Up the left side, number 7, John Connolly. Connolly chips one far post, way too far. Earthquakes goal kick here.
I'll tell you, that Cecil Graham is just as delightful a gentleman as you'd ever want to meet.
He's got a great sense of humor,
too.
Oh,
yes, and he's ready. He's ready for us, Julie. I told him we were going to.
Ready too. Let's
go. He's got us ready at Turnberry and Troon and Glen Eagles.
Go next year, and we'll take in the World Cup while we're there.
Hughes will be ready by then.
Over to Spain, taking the World Cup.
Hughes will have golf shoes by then. That fit.
George Best. Long ball. Etherington right there. Etherington to Ratonski. Fossa penetrating, trying to. Tripped up on the play by Arthur Duncan.
Ooh, Ratonski got upset. There's a replay on this. Ratonski is fouled. He's actually tripped, I think. There it is. And he got up and he didn't like it one bit. He hit him right on the head with a ball.
That's right. Rutansky leaping for it. Ryan leaping for it. Ryan is pushed. That is going to be a free kick.
It's a penalty kick. Penalty kick. Oh, here's a chance for the Quakes to get on the board now.
Ryan leaped for the ball. He was ready to head it toward the goal, but he was pushed from behind.
George.
It's a penalty kick, and George Best will take it.
Boy, we haven't seen many calls inside the box for some time, Julie, and all of a sudden,
you saw two.
Here they come, huh? Best doesn't miss many of these, Julie.
No, this will be interesting.
Best this year has had one penalty kick, and he scored. He's got another. 3-1.
Watch the goalie. The goalie reacts in the wrong direction. He goes to his left, and Best puts it to his right.
You've got to pretty much guess one way or the other if you're a goalie. You can't move until the ball is kicked. And you've got to just dive to one side and hope that that's where the kick goes.
Well, if you have an opportunity to scout players when they take penalty kicks and they always kick in one corner, you might have a good chance doing that. But it's a chance. Like you say, it's a real gamble. You have to go one direction.
And it's 3-1 all of a sudden. .39 minutes, 20 seconds to play in the game. International Exhibition Soccer on the Sports Channel. Murph, this has been a real treat today. Hibernian, they have an outstanding team, and I think maybe some of the youngsters watching on the Sports Channel are learning some little things.
Some of the youngsters are playing, Pat, 17, 18 years old.
For Hibernian, that's right.
They sure are.
He was called offside.
Lots of interesting things coming up right here on the Sports Channel, Pat. You talk about the number of sports we have covered, 28 by my count, over the last couple of years. Beach volleyball, once again. You've got it up to 29, have you?
And in June, it's going to go up to 31, Bob.
Tell me the two new ones.
The two new ones, sumo wrestling.
Sumo wrestling. I've got Julie entered in that.
And paddle tennis.
Paddle tennis.
Etherington, can he get there? He gets there, but his momentum is going forward too much that he can't keep it in the field of play.
Paddle tennis will be at the Decathlon Club, and that'll be absolutely outstanding. We've got beach volleyball coming up again. Just a week from now, we'll be covering the Pac-10 track and field championships. That's like a mini Olympic Games, Julie. And speaking of track and field, we certainly want to pass along our deepest congratulations to Coach Ernie Bullard and Marshall Clark. The San Jose State Spartans won the PC2A track and field championship, and it really took some come-throughs to do it, Julie.
Horvath doesn't know whether to go after the ball or the man.
Well, inability to make a decision. One of man's tragic flaws.
Oh, that was funny. Horvath decided he probably should go for the ball, and
well, all of a sudden the game wasn't that important to him, was it?
Look out. Etherington is just cut down by Gary Murray. Murray just cut his legs out.
Murray already has a yellow card. Boy, that was vicious. Watch this.
Well, he did get the ball, though.
Etherington is up on his feet. Free kick for San Jose. 3-1 Hibernian.
See that play, and I think immediately of Dr. Mayfield Harris, who I visited with down on the field. Mayfield lives up in Los Altos Hills, Julie, and he used to be kind of curious about the Sports Channel and the different things we do. There's no cable, of course, up in that Mid-Peninsula area. Now he's kind of mad. He wants to know, how do we get this now? I want to see this. Says all my pals in Milpitas are watching the Sports Channel, and I can't see it. What do I do? And I said, well, move to Milpitas.
Dr. Mayfield's a great guy. He's really into soccer.
Bob Stetler goes up to Tony Crescitelli. Crescitelli gets away from a bump by Stuart Turnbull. To Steve Ryan. Back to Best. Best, he kicked it a little too hard, and it was stolen by Alistair You would think these teams were playing for the Scottish Cup.
John Conley is injured. Batonsky really ran into him.
All right, there's a player down on the field. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Don't go away.
Wait, one at a time, please. Yes.
Who first discovered someone had changed the Olympia beer label?
Corbin Hutchin, our night inspector.
Can we talk to Mr. Hutchins?
Corbin is under the care of a doctor, but we expect a statement very soon. Yes.
Mr. O'Neill, is there any truth to the rumor that the artisans who, and I quote, make the artesian water that makes Oli taste so good are behind this mysterious label change?
No comment.
6 seconds to play in the game at 3-1. Hibernian leading San Jose. Pat Hughes, Bob Murphy, and Julie Menendez with you on the Sports Channel. Hibernian's Gordon Rae tries to head one to his teammate in the penalty area, but Joseph Horvath gets it upfield, and that's a difficult play. Tim Schultz comes in for San Jose. Tim is number 17 from Colorado Springs originally. Played at De Anza Junior College in 1980 and a third-round draft pick by the Quakes in that same year.
You know, it's interesting, Julie, in the booth next to us, Deezy Perez and Steve David are sitting eating peanuts and drinking soft drinks. What a way to it. They're just a couple of fans. I don't know if we can get a picture of that or not, but it is really kind of comical. Those peanuts are going down. I don't think they're making them as fast as these guys are eating them. They are going through those peanuts like they haven't had a meal for about 3 weeks.
Easy's eating them with a vengeance.
Oh, Easy's eating the shells. I think then he throws down a little Coke right on top of it just to wash them down. Watch him. Look at David. Look at these guys go. Look at him. This is like beat the clock.
Alistair McLeod will take the free kick.
I'm telling Easy that we got him with the peanuts now.
He says, you didn't show that on TV.
I want to get another picture of those guys, Jim, if we can.
Best place one to Etherington.
That's funny. That's funny. I'll get them looking at us here the next time.
Joe Horvath.
They got to get a runner to get more peanuts. They're getting a little low.
McAllister the best.
As soon as we get a camera here, we'll show you these guys again. They're really having fun.
Etherington, good penetration.
Easy heard that those peanuts help that hamstring muscle.
McAllister cannot get there. Goal kick for Hibernian.
Here we go. Watch these guys. Where's David?
He's still eating.
They're having fun, aren't they?
Steve David and Easy Perez.
There was nothing better, Julie, in baseball. I didn't have it happen very often, but
Gordon Rae.
Oh, nice ball.
Ooh, boy.
John Connolly one-timed it too wide. Murph.
Nothing
really
like
set that one up.
Pitching the opening game of a doubleheader. I remember this happened in the Old Coast League down in Hollywood one day. Pitch the opening game and win. And then just go sit out in the stands and have a couple of oldies, sit up there with the fans and boo the umpires and become a fan again, you know, and that's what these guys are doing. They're having a good time.
Well, that was a great shot, but just a little too high.
Ray really set that shot up beautifully with a nice back pass. Here's Horvath. Mark Liverich. The Earthquakes goal coming by George Best on a penalty kick in the second half. Gordon Rae has had 2 goals for Hibernian, and Jackie McNamara 1 on a penalty kick for the Hibees.
Boy, they really play. You know, they gang around that ball, Julie, defensively, don't they?
Well, yeah, they do a great job of funneling back into the penalty area and just shutting things down, you know, and then when they get that ball, well, they're great at coming up from behind, supporting each other, playing wide on the field. It's just a pleasure to watch a team like this. See how they switch that ball to the open man, you know. They know where they are all the time, you know. They know just how to play off the ball, how to support each other.
Julie, in European soccer, many teams have junior teams, I believe, don't they?
Reserve teams.
Kind of like a minor league system.
Ooh, great handling of the ball.
Score.
Fabulous goal.
Great shot.
Gary Murray.
Oh, boy. Gary Murray's something else, isn't he?
You know, all the things you just said, Julie, what's interesting about that, all the things you just said are so clearly understood when you watch this.
Right. Well, they
Watch
put
this.
it all together and score.
Look at that. So easy. Fundamentals.
Gary
Beautifully
Murray
done.
gets the goal. It's 4-1.
What really makes this game is the players who are playing off the ball, you know, away from the ball, because they get positioned to get the ball. And these guys are experts at it, believe me.
The assist, I would have to think, will go to McNamara and Connolly. It was a little wall pass between McNamara and Connolly, and then McNamara's through ball to Gary Murray, and Murray drilled it past Bob Stetler. In fairness to Stetler today, I don't think any of the goals have really been his fault, Julie.
No, there's no way in the world he could have stopped that one. That was a great shot.
And set up so beautifully.
Horvath goes to Crescitelli in the area. McAllister, double teamed. Liverich has it blocked.
Just absolutely shut down again. You're right. I love that terminology, Julie. They funnel in. They really do funnel in.
They funnel back.
Very descriptive. Connolly and McNamara assists on that last goal by Gary Murray.
Steve Ryan loses that individual
They're
battle.
strong tacklers, too. Notice how they come up with the ball. They dig the ball up. Now, Schultz committed a foul there, and he'll get a yellow card.
Alistair McLeod, the victim. Tim Schultz, a lot of people in the Earthquakes organization, particularly Dave Chaplick, are very high on Tim Schultz.
Well, here's a foul now. Tim grabs the player here. He got beat, so he pulled on him, so he couldn't
Might have gotten him in the eye, Joey.
Yeah, it looks like
I wonder if we can see that one more time. Mike Cobb out in the truck. If there's a chance to see that, I'm not sure that wasn't a finger right in the eye.
Here's another chance.
Gary Murray. Horvath cleared it away. Here
Let's
it is
take a
again.
look. Here we are.
Watch
the right hand now.
No, I think
that was.
I think he was acting a bit there.
Yeah, might have been.
Called offside.
Offsides at the time the ball is played.
Little Hamlet that took place in Scotland too, Julie. Huh?
Well, they're good at everything.
Less than 30 minutes to play. 4-1 Hibernian on top.
We could catch a little Shakespeare on our trip.
I'm ready.
I hope you guys have a good time over there.
Well, Bob just talks, you know.
You play your cards right, you could get invited.
He just
Okay.
talks.
Liverich to George Best. Crescitelli. Broken up on the play by Alan Snedden. There always seems to be a lot more defenders around the ball than offensive players when the Quakes are trying to score, and just the opposite at the other end.
Cecil Graham and the Hibernian team staying up at the Marriott at Great America and very much wanting to watch this telecast tomorrow when the replay takes place. So we'll take this opportunity, knowing that they're going to be watching, to pass along our welcome, our congratulations, and our appreciation, Julie, for a team that comes over here all the way from Scotland and shows us how they play soccer over there, and we're enjoying it.
They have a very fine team, Bob.
The flyer, Arthur Duncan. Pass broken up by Ryan. Joe Horvath gets a leg on it. Nobody in the middle of the field.
There's a good ball. Watch this.
Gordon Rae after it.
He'll pull it back.
Good ball.
Watch this. Watch it. Oh.
Murray was almost fouled in the penalty area, but they did not call it.
Boy, they create a lot of opportunities, don't they?
Mark Liverich. And the quick transition from offense to defense by Hibernian, and they get back to break up the play. Crescitelli with leverage. Pass goes through, but broken up by Billy McLaren. Stuart Turnbull. George Best has played all the way here today against his former teammates of Hibernian. And the Earthquakes have to play in Atlanta on Tuesday. We're taping this on Sunday afternoon. Here's Tim Schultz to George Best.
Good ball. Great pass by George.
To Etherington. To the middle, nobody there. Parts A and B were perfect. Best to Etherington. And Etherington's cross was good, but nobody could finish because nobody was there. McLeod. Out of Arthur Duncan. Alan Snedden. Tackled away by Schultz. Over the sideline. Hibernian throw in. Hibernian after today is flying to Haiti for 2 games in the Caribbean. Or the Caribbean if you prefer. Murph, what do you prefer?
I like Caribbean.
I do too.
Thank you.
Sounds nicer. Got a foul on the play. Offsides perhaps. It is offsides. Earthquakes ball. Hibernian recently won the Scottish First Division title. They had a record of 24, 6, and 9 this year. They don't have the shootout, of course, in European soccer. Although, Julie, in the Football Association Cup final, there was a tie a few weeks ago, and they were discussing the possibility of having a shootout if they had another tie game.
Well, they usually resort to penalty kicks in international play when they can't decide a game.
Most teams don't like that over there.
No, they don't. We were involved in that one time with El Salvador when I was coaching the Olympic team. We played them 3 times, and they were all ties, and we had to get down to penalty kicks.
I think the argument that people come up with if they don't like the shootout, they say that it should merely be a sudden death situation. Just play until somebody wins the game.
Get into some pretty long soccer games that way.
Well, you could. We try to do that in the NC2A now. In the final, we play until we get a winner.
There was a Division II or a Division III championship game. I just read it somewhere. I think Soccer America magazine recently, and somebody had to go to 14 10-minute overtimes to win a game. That's a long one.
They just had a little bonus deal here, and it's caused a rustling in the stands. They've got some kind of a giveaway that has to do with something under your seat. You know, looked like everybody was getting up to leave. I couldn't believe it.
Ryan, a good ball to Crescitelli. Nobody after it.
The statistics after 60 minutes favor Hibernian, as you would expect. They've doubled up on total shots, 8 for the Quakes, 16 for Hibernian. Shots on goal, the Quakes 6, Hibernian 7. The fouls, Hibernian 16, the Quakes 11. Corner kicks are even at 4 apiece. Saves, 3 by San Jose, 5 by Hibernian.
Earthquakes throw in across the way. Tim Schultz to George Best. Lasse Ratonski in the middle. And it's knocked away by John Connolly, and a foul on John Connolly. Hibernian was founded in 1875 by Canon Edward Howard.
What was your class, Julie?
No, but that gets pretty close to the beginning of soccer as we know it today, because it first became organized along this fashion in 1865. So they were pretty close to the beginning.
That's about the end of the Civil War, Julie. That didn't start soccer, I hope, did it?
No, but they started it in England about that time. I mean, the way we know it today, they called it association football, and of course they still do.
Here comes the flyer, Arthur Duncan. He was tripped by Mike Hunter. Free kick for Hibernian here.
Someday, Bob, I'll tell you how American football got started. You probably know.
Well, I want to hear that story. In fact, I don't want to hear it someday. I want to hear it today. I may need to know that tonight.
I think, Julie, that some guy was playing soccer one day and picked up the ball and started running with it. Isn't that about it?
No, they played a game between Princeton and Rutgers in 1869. It was a combination of the two games we saw here today, soccer and rugby.
And that was it?
Well, that started it.
You know, we were doing some family history recently, and my great-great-great-uncle arrived in Santa Cruz, California in 1840, and I always wondered why he didn't start a soccer team. Now I know the game didn't start until 26 years later.
Right. 25 of them.
I know he had a lot of fun in Santa Cruz. I mean, our family records show that, but he didn't start a soccer team.
Oh, really, Bob? The one problem between American football and soccer is that around the world, soccer answers to the name of football.
Yeah, yeah.
And here in this country, we call the American-style game football. And as you know, they're two different games.
And what's so interesting, Julie, as you sit and watch this game, I was thinking about this earlier today, this same game is played this same way with these same rules.
All over the world.
All over Latin America, all over South America, all over Africa, behind the Iron Curtain, all the way through Asia, the Philippines, all the way through Australia and New Zealand, and literally all over the world.
And it's called football.
It's incredible.
It's called football. And in Germany, it's called foosball. And in Spanish-speaking countries, it's called football or ballon de pied.
And of course, in all my travels in Mexico, every vacant lot, every open piece of ground has something set up, and they may just be two rocks or two sticks stuck in the ground, but whatever it is, it signifies a goal at one end and a goal at the other. And you see the youngsters, age 4, 5, 6, out there with a soccer ball. They may have little else in the world when you talk about personal possessions, but somebody always has a soccer ball.
8,300 fans watching on today as Hibernian is battling the Earthquakes. It's 4-1. Hibernian on top. 2 goals in each half for Hibernian. The Earthquakes' lone tally coming early in the second half on a penalty kick by George Best after Steve Ryan was pushed in the penalty box.
You know, that Bob Ray, the public address announcer here, Pat, he just gets you excited no matter what he says. 8314, 8,314 people. I'd like to have him just announce breakfast at my house someday, just to get me started right. I mean, just to get fired up. And here's the coffee. And how would you like your grape nuts?
Oh, boy. That was a good chance.
Doesn't he get you fired up, Pat?
He sure does.
Hope I didn't hurt anybody's ears.
Arthur Duncan plays one. Bob Stetler comes up and makes a catch out to Steve Ryan. Red Ryan, as he is known, a solo run, nobody cutting him off. He's got Ratajski on the right side. Fossa one time.
Oh, boy.
Ryan just kept on dribbling. He could not believe that nobody was...
Julie,
opportunity.
As we watch this again, and he's your former player, I'm not so sure that right at this point that Ryan's best option wasn't to shoot the ball himself.
Well, no, he had Ratajski open on his right, and
Crescitelli on the other side.
I think he did just the right thing.
Ratajski just missed it. You're not distracted, are you, Pat?
Not at all, Murph. 17.5 minutes to play in the game. 4-1, Hibernian leading San Jose. The Earthquakes' George Best with the ball, the former great of Manchester United. Tried to go to Mike Hunter. Here's Crescitelli coming up. Crescitelli off to the right. No good chance. Crescitelli, who had 15 goals for the Washington Diplomats last year. He attended North Adams State College, a Division II school on the East Coast. Had 45 goals his senior year in college. Hetherington gets it back to Stetler here.
Time running a little short now. We're 16.5 minutes away from the end of this contest.
I'm not sure what's going on up here in the booth right now, but
No, Julie just passed me a note, Pat. He said that his eyes may wander, but his mind is always on the game.
For some reason, I don't believe that. Number 9, Alistair McLeod in the middle. Referee says play on McLeod.
Something was called there. Oh, a little scuffle there.
Now Horvath is trying to get at McLeod. For a friendly exhibition game, I've never seen so many disagreements among the players.
Let's watch it again, Pat, see what happens.
Of course, there's one point, Julie, with athletes of this caliber, there's no such thing as an exhibition game.
No, there's a lot of pride involved in a game like that.
It's going to be a free kick for Hibernian here. The Earthquakes set up that wall. In fact, there's one member from Hibernian, number 7, John Connolly, in that wall.
It's just about everybody's in it.
He's waiting for that rebound.
Now they've got him backed up. They've got him about 12 to 15 yards away from the ball, Julie.
That's about 10.
Here comes the kick. Too high, off the top of the cage.
Boy,
and it went off the, it did not go off the crossbar. It went off the back bar on top.
Such a good kick. Players, of course, cannot put up their hands to block that ball, so they try to hit that sinker, Julie.
Right, he was trying to put it over the goalie's head, and he almost did.
Julie, in light of the fact that the Earthquakes have a 2-game winning streak going with victories over Edmonton and California, they are embarking on a 2-game road trip this week, and I would have to think it's one of the most important road trips in the last 3 or 4 years for the Earthquakes.
It is, because it's a long one, and they're playing 2 teams that are not doing real well.
Atlanta and Calgary.
And if they can, of course, they're playing away from home, and that'll be at a disadvantage. But if they can put 2 wins together and come back for the game with Los Angeles, why, they should have it going.
Why do you think, Julie, it's so difficult for teams to win on the road in the NASL? I saw some statistic. The winning team, or rather the home team, had won something like 72% of the games in the first month of the season.
Well, there are many reasons. First place, it's much like basketball. You know, the home court is an advantage. Well, the home field's an advantage. Certainly playing, although today's game is no indication, playing on a field like Spartan Stadium, while you get accustomed to it, and it serves to your advantage. And this is a big advantage. And then the crowd advantage, having the crowd on your side helps.
Having not to travel.
Having not to travel, you're right. There's a number of things.
Here's a shot taken by Alistair McLeod. It's a little bit wide right.
I think that home advantage applies to almost every sport, wouldn't you say, Bob?
Oh, I think so to some degree or another. I think the home team is always a little more comfortable, Julie. They're, even in baseball, and I'm not sure that baseball is a good example because I don't think there's a whole lot of favoritism there. I don't think in football there is either, except that you're just a little more comfortable in your surroundings. You don't have to travel. You don't have to be in a hotel. You don't have to make...
Oh, here it goes. Etherington. Here's a pass. Oh! George Best. Boy, that was a great goal by George Best. He was reading it all the way.
I'm glad to see that, Julie. I'm glad to see Best score against one of his former teams.
Here it is. George was reading this all the way. He's following all the way. You can't see him. He's out of the picture right now. But he's coming into it right here. I'm not sure if Etherington even saw Best. He might have been trying to go to Crescentelli, but it sure worked out great for the Earthquakes. George made the right run there. Beautiful pass by Etherington. 4-2 game. 11:37 to play. That makes the score respectable. This is the same score that Hibernian won by a week ago against Fresno State.
You know, if you ask the Earthquake fans what they come to see, I think number one, they come to see the Earthquakes win. Number two, they come to see George Best score a goal.
Right. He's had 2 today.
And I think with a lot of the number twos, they like number one even better. They like to see Best do what he can do best.
Could be. Hunter gets it through, but it is taken by Alistair McLeod.
Etherington, obviously, with an assist. Ratonski given an assist on that last goal by George Best, officially coming with 77 minutes and 46 seconds expired.
So Best has had both of the Earthquakes goals today. Ten and a half minutes to play. Joseph Horvath. Horvath, formerly a Washington diplomat, goes to Jimmy McAllister. The ball goes through. Tim Schultz tried to get it. Now Bestie. McAllister after it. Hunter. The Earthquakes are very aggressive all of a sudden. Here's Best. Bestie. Oh, he still got it. He wanted to shoot. It was knocked away. And Best right now is discussing something with Mark Liverich. Steve Ryan. Ryan's pass broken up, but it goes back to Liverich. That goal brought the Earthquakes alive. It sure did. Here's Bestie. He wants to cross one. He does. And that was more of a shot. Davey Huggins able to smother it. Best, it's just amazing, Julie. The defense knows that he's going to cross the ball. Everybody in the stadium knows he's going to do it. And yet he still is able to do it just about every time. Well, that's what makes him a world-class player. Best with a marvelous passing ability that sets up his teammates. Vasa Ratonski with the ball, number 5. Vasa is from Novi Sad. That's the same town as Milan Mandaric in Yugoslavia. Hibernian is substituting here, has substituted. Number 15, Willie Jamieson into the game. Willie, a 17-year-old lad. Jamieson had many important goals during this last season. Craig Paterson. Jackie McNamara. Jamieson's first touch. And Jimmy McAllister comes out of the pack to George Best. He might take it to the middle there. Stumbles. And it's cleared away by Billy McLaren. Here's the ball that Horvath is after. Horvath gently kicks it back to Bob Stettler. Stettler, rather. And the Earthquakes are playing better now since that goal by George Best. Less than 8 minutes to play in the game. Hibernian 4, San Jose 2. George Best with the ball of San Jose. Like to see Bestie get a hat trick today. Ball is knocked away, and here comes Hibernian. Watching the linesman on the near side moving with the players. That's kind of interesting, Bob. He's using that shuffle step from side to side to make sure that a man on the offensive team is not behind the last defender at the time of the pass.
Keeping track of that offside. That is the way they do that.
Stuart Turnbull has the free kick for Hibernian. Billy McLaren with it. McLaren going to Gordon Rae, but getting up to get ahead on it was Mike Hunter. Here's Alan Snedden, marked by McAllister. Snedden and McAllister still hassling each other. McAllister was ejected from a game in Portland a couple of weeks ago. First time he's ever been ejected. Bob, you mentioned the young players on Hibernian. The Earthquakes have two guys that went straight from high school to the North American Soccer League. Jimmy McAllister is one, and Gary Etherington is the other. Ratonski pushing it forward. And McLeod blatantly grabs the shirt.
He'll get a card on this. He'll get a yellow card or maybe even a red card.
Etherington, of course, has an English background, Pat. Actually grew up in England and then later moved to Virginia.
Here's where he grabs him, right there. Little shirt pulling.
Rather obvious, I would say. Just over 6 minutes to play. The Earthquakes are down 4-2. Bestie over to Horvath. He one-times it.
He really hit that.
By the head of Jamieson. Here's John Connolly. Back to Stuart Turnbull. All right, with the goal kick of Hibernian coming up, we'll take a break. We'll be back in a half minute.
There's a spirit round today from the mountains to the bay. It's feeling good and going good the county transit way. Get our spirit now, next county transit now.
There's a new spirit in Santa Clara County, and you can catch it too.
Catch our spirit, county transit. Catch our spirit, county.
As at Bob Murphy at Spartan Stadium, International Exhibition Soccer today on the Sports Channel. Hibernian in gold and green, San Jose in red and white. We have just over 5 minutes to play. It's 4-2, Hibernian leading. The scoring in the game, where San Jose George Best has had 2 goals. Hibernian's Gordon Rae has had 2. Jackie McNamara had 1, and Gary Murray had 1. Best will take this free kick, I believe. Bestie with the left leg plays one to Vasa Ratonski. Chips one into the box. Head ball by Tim Schultz. Schultz is just too high. I like that shot, Julie.
Yeah, that was a good chance. There it is again. Schultz had a good chance on this one.
Just missed the upper left-hand corner. That's close.
Going for that upper left-hand corner. Goal kick by Davey Huggins of Hibernian. Horvath. McAllister plays it into Tim Schultz. Up to Crescitelli. Quakes with a lot of Americans on the field right now. I count about 6 or 7. Ratonski with it from Yugoslavia.
Well, the Quakes are playing better now. They're knocking the ball around real well, retaining possession.
Best. He's had 2 goals today. Can he go for a hat trick? He chipped one into the box toward Liverich. Well, the Americans on the field right now: Schultz, McAllister, Liverich, Hunter, Ryan, and Crescitelli. And also Bob Stetler, the goalkeeper. That's 7 out of the 11. Good ball by Best to McAllister. Broken up, though. Hibernian in control, 4-2. Schultz plays one back to Hunter. Joe Horvath, 2.5 minutes to play in the game. Liverich back to Bessie. George gets an opening.
Still going.
Bestie frustrated because there were no support players that time, and he had to do it by himself pretty much. Horvath, dangerous play, a high kick. No, they say a foul on Hibernian's Willie Jamieson.
It's called for a handball.
Murphy, you going to visit with any of the Hibernian Hibees after the game? I guess he is. He has already taken off downstairs. So Bob Murphy will be chatting with some of the players after this one's over. He didn't even say goodbye, Julie.
Well, he's on his way. It's quite a distance down those stairs.
Murph's in great shape, though. Hunter back to Ryan. Tim Schultz. Jimmy McAllister. George Best. Bestie plays one to McAllister, but it's broken up on the play by Craig Paterson. Now Steve Ryan to Vasa Ratonski. 1 minute and 10 seconds to play in the game. Schultz to Ratonski. And Huggins made a nice deflection. Corner kick for the Quakes.
Watch this. This is a great effort by Ratonski. Takes that ball on through. It's actually smothered
by the defensive player. Here's Best in the box.
Good ball. Good ball.
Crescitelli. What a fabulous pass by Best.
Pass by Best. Watch this. George is a little disgusted that this didn't turn out to be a goal. He hit it well with his head.
Crescitelli is a good head ball shooter, though. His only goal of the season came against San Diego on a header. 10 seconds to go. Hibernian getting off to a fast early lead today, and it has stood up. They led 2-0 at halftime. Each team has tallied twice here in the second half, and the clock has run out, and that is it. It's all over. Hibernian of Scotland has defeated the San Jose Earthquakes. The final score, Hibernian 4 and San Jose 2.
This spring, there's a fresh new look in sportswear. Presenting the 81.5 Sports Hard Tops from Toyota. The very latest in sporty good looks. The new roofline, open, airy. The interior, beautifully smart. And the trunk, very private. But best of all, beneath its sporty exterior, this is a Toyota Corolla. And it acts like one. New Corolla!
See some of the finest amateur athletes in the world on the Sports Channel on Monday night, May 25th at 9 p.m. It's exciting NCAA track and field from Stanford Stadium featuring the Pac-10 Championships. Replays may be seen on Tuesday, May 26th at 6 p.m. and Wednesday the 27th at 11 in the morning. It's all coming your way on the Sports Channel.
The Sports Channel.
County residents. Coming to you on May 18th are free water-saving devices from the California Department of Water Resources. The shower flow nozzle reduces water volume without reducing spray pressure and can save $30 to $70 a year on your utility bills. By installing the water displacement bags in your toilets, you can save 1,200 gallons per person per year and use the dye tablets to check for leaks. Save water, save energy, save money.
Wait, one at a time, please. Yes.
Who first discovered someone had changed the Olympia beer label?
Corbin Hutchin, our night inspector.
Can we talk to Mr. Hutchins?
Corbin is under the care of a doctor, but we expect a statement very soon. Yes.
Mr. O'Neill, is there any truth to the rumor that the artisans who, and I quote, make the artesian water that makes only taste so good are behind this mysterious label change?
No comment.
Hibernian of Scotland, the winners this year in the Scottish First Division. The league champions, as a matter of fact. They defeat the San Jose Earthquakes 4-2 today. And Julie, I was very impressed with Hibernian.
Well, they proved to be a very good team, Pat. A real class team. The Earthquakes were not in the game in the first half, but they did play much better toward the end of the game. And certainly George Best's 2 goals, one of them coming as a penalty, and the other one a great shot. I think saved the day for the Quakes. It could have been embarrassing, but it wasn't. It was a respectable score.
I believe we're going to take a look right now, Julie, at the goal scored by George Best. This made the score 4-2. Rutanski played one to Gary Etherington, who made a marvelous blind pass almost. I don't even know how he saw Best.
Best was running. He just crossed it in there, and Best made the move coming up from behind. Hit it first time with his left foot, and it's a goal.
Into the back of the net. So that made it 4-2. Best had both of the goals for the Earthquakes on the day against his former teammates from Hibernian. Bob Murphy is waiting by with a special guest down on the field. Bob?
This is a very special guest, Pat. This is the coach of the Hibernian team, Bert Auld, from Glasgow, Scotland. Glasgow, am I saying that right, Bert?
Glasgow, that's right, way to pronounce it. Yeah, Bob.
But of course, the team is headquartered in Edinburgh, and your team plays so well today, Bert.
Yeah, well, I must give credit to the Quakes here because they allowed us to play, which is very important to make it entertaining for the people.
And of course, George Best scoring 2 goals here today. We say that the people come to watch the Earthquakes win. If they can't, then they want to see George Best score a goal or 2. They saw that today.
Yes, well, George is a magnificent player, isn't he? He plays when he feels like playing. These are the type of characters that were short of in the game in Scotland. I only wish that when George was over, I'd have been manager Hibernian. No way would they have left Hibernian Football Club.
You would have hung on to George and kept him right there, wouldn't you?
That's right, Bob, yeah. I've got a lot of time for George. Anyone with quality like that, you must keep hold of.
I'm sure impressed with Gordon Rae. He scored the first 2 goals for you today with 2 headers and got Hibernian off winging. You got off to a fast start.
That's right. Well, this is something I think it's just because we're full-time professionals and we work at the game all day. And I think this is very important. And I think that's why we're so alert at the start of every game.
Now, the North American Soccer League and the Earthquakes, is this a different kind of soccer? Did you find what you expected to find here today?
Yeah, no, let me put it this way, Bob. I was very impressed with the soccer here today with the Quakes. I think it's come on leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
I think the game's going to really start building here. I was very impressed with them. Naturally, I'm delighted that we were far stronger and far sharper. But I could expect that because of the heat here, you know. It was a marvellous. I'm impressed with the soccer here.
We were sure impressed with some of your youngsters, your 18-year-old goalie, and Jameson comes in, 17, 18 years old. You get these youngsters when they're relatively young. They're already established as outstanding soccer players.
That's right. Well, we get the chance to coach these boys at 15 years of age. And they're with the club at 15 years of age. And they come through our youth policy. We have a youth policy, Bob, that starts at school age. And we pay all expenses for them. We don't pay them. We give them expenses and give them coaching, which is most important, and try to further their career as a player.
Now, this year you won the First Division and you're moving up to the Premier Division. Now, explain that to our viewers here locally.
Well, the First Division is the 2nd division in the Scottish football. Hibernian Football Club, that was the first time they've ever been relegated, was last year. About November, I was appointed manager of Hibernian Football Club, and at that time, we were a wee bit in a down.
I see.
Now, what this means is that a club of this standing to be in the second division. It's like Quakes playing in a youth league here or a university league.
So you're back where you belong now.
We are back, and we're back at the top.
Well, you certainly proved it here today. 4-2 on the board, and in some ways, a kind of soccer we don't often see here with the individuality, the way the players express themselves with the ball. Truly outstanding.
Oh, yes, we've got individuals that can play, but the most important thing of it all, Bob, is the way they play as a team.
Yeah.
You know, we got movement off the ball today that I was very delighted with.
Well, from here to the Caribbean and Haiti,
yes,
and an interesting trip.
Thank you
Bert,
very much,
congratulations. When I get to Scotland with Julie Menendez, my colleague upstairs, we're going to call you.
Oh, that's marvellous, and I hope everyone who was at this ground will come to the games as well.
All right.
Thank you very much,
Bert,
Bob.
Congratulations. Bert Auld, the coach of the Hibernian team. Pat, back upstairs to you.
Okay, thanks very much, Murph. Julie, he's a delightful character, isn't he? Bertie Auld?
Yes, he is. And Bob's dead set on going to Scotland, isn't he?
He really is.
We better not disappoint him.
Julie, again, a big road trip coming up for the Earthquakes. We wish him the best of luck, and we'd like to remind you that the San Jose Earthquakes will be back here at Spartan Stadium on Wednesday, May 27th to take on the Los Angeles Aztecs in a 7:30 game. Wednesday, May 27th. Julie, a final comment about Hibernian?
Oh, I just enjoyed the game. It was a fun day, and enjoyed the game, and it was a pleasure to be here.
All right, Julie, that just about wraps it up today. The final score, Hibernian 4 and San Jose 2. The director of this telecast today was Michael Cobb. This Sports Channel telecast was brought to you by Olympia Beer, made only with pure, clear, bubbling, refreshing artesian brewing water, according to the artisans who've never been known for modesty. And by Toyota. Toyota invites you to test drive the recharged 1981 Toyota Celica Supra at your local Toyota dealer. Luxury never performed like this before. Oh, what a feeling to drive a Toyota. And by Santa Clara County Transit. They invite you to catch our spirit. For Bob Murphy and Julie Menendez, this is Pat Hughes saying thank you very much for joining us. And once again, the final score, Hibernian of Scotland 4, the San Jose Earthquakes 2.